Well, let's try this one more time. I tried to do a video and my phone just decided it was done. Hey, it's Carrie from Konservatives Korner. How are you today? Coming in to talk to you about what it is like to be a conservative in the United States of America in July of 2026. Are you a conservative? Anybody is welcome here at this podcast, but the podcast is designed for conservatives. If you want to be a part of the community, I welcome everybody. The one thing I will guarantee you I will not tolerate is any sort of insult or violence or aggression or anything like that. If that's what your intentions are, you will be blocked and your comments will be removed, because that is not what this is about. This is about conservatives in America and the struggles that we are in today, and trying to encourage each of us to stay positive and engaged and informed so we can make sure as we move forward that our conservative way of life is preserved. So you're welcome, but just know that's what's going to happen if you have other intentions. So I'm Carrie. I'm in the Houston area. If you're here in Houston, we're under a heat wave, so be careful again. Make sure you're traveling with water. Make sure you're paying attention to the news and the weather, because when you add 99 degrees with the Houston humidity, your index goes well over 110, and that is deadly. 10 minutes in this horrible heat can cause heat stroke, and that will kill you if you are not prepared. So be prepared. Travel always with water, and never leave an animal in your car or your child in the car, even if it's for you to run into the 7-Eleven. Don't do it. It's a deadly situation, and sometimes things just happen out of control, and that's the last thing you want to have to deal with, is that kind of tragedy. So, what is it like to be a conservative in the United States of America? A challenge, right? A big challenge. You know, my family has been blessed to live the American dream. We came here in 1968 for my dad's career. He was a touring professional golfer, played on the PGA Tour, and I grew up on the PGA Tour. I had a very different childhood. I have seen so many things that a normal child does not see, all good, in my growing up years. I've had an amazing American dream. I'm married to an amazing man, 35 years, 3 children, 2 boys, a girl, and 4 grandchildren, 2 of each. And I want their America, the one I've had. I want them to see and experience and live in an amazing time. And right now, I'm not seeing that. And that's not okay. You know, it's okay to have differing views. The world would be a really boring place if we were all the same. But when one side of a view becomes violent and tries to prevent the other side of that opinion from speaking their mind or living their life, then we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. America, we have a problem. I grew up in this country where, yeah, there's always been differences, but we've never turned to aggression and violence to settle a difference. Charlie Kirk was murdered. This is a prime example this week. His preliminary hearing is going on right now. How in the United States of America did a 30-some-year-old man be executed on live feed because somebody hated him so much to murder him? How did that happen in this country? How have we allowed that to happen? Because we have, because it happened. He's dead. He was murdered. He was assassinated. And that video is out there for those 2 young children to see, and they will have to deal with it at some point in their life. And that is a travesty, that 2 innocent children are the victims in their father's assassination, because they are. How did this happen? How did we allow it to happen? That's the question. Why should anybody in this country be murdered because of a political disagreement. What inspired another young man to pick up a gun and murder Charlie Kirk? Hatred. How did that hatred turn to such an aggressive violence? I don't know the answers. I just know that this country cannot survive if we can't figure out a way to get back to sit down at a table and agree to disagree. I have friends in my life that I've known since I was 12. Several. And they're not conservatives. I love them just as much because they're not. We just disagree that we don't agree. And we know that there's some things that we just don't talk about because I don't want to insult them. They don't want to insult me. They have a position, I have a position, and we each respect each other enough and love each other enough that that's okay. That's their opinion. It's my opinion. And we don't have to tear each other apart because we have a differing opinion. How did we get from there to picking up a gun and murdering somebody? And it will continue if we, the people, don't stop all of the aggression that's going on. Everybody in this country is entitled to believe what they want, live how they want, where they want, with who they want, in whatever the relationship is, to believe what they want, to have a lifestyle that they want. The Constitution of the United States of America grants that. How has that been exercised out of thought processes? That's what I don't understand. We have to learn to agree to disagree again and just say, you know what? That's your opinion and I respect it. It's not my opinion. And I'm respecting the fact that you have a different opinion, and now I expect you to do the same for me. That solves the whole problem. But when there's money and hate and power involved, this is what happens. And it will destroy our country. No society has ever managed as a divided society. It always falls. So I guess the question then is, how do we stop that? How, as a conservative in America today, how do we stop that? How, as a liberal in America today, how do you stop that? I don't know the answers. I just know as I watch it. When, perfect example, I go out and I do a makeup video. I'm 64 years old. I do makeup videos to help other mature individuals who struggle with techniques and products. And it is a great way to have a community where we support and encourage each other at our age to be the best that we are, to never question our worth. And the disgusting comments of individuals, I can't even express to you how vile some of them are. That's how far our society is digressing, where individual passions are trashed by another side because they hate to the point that they can't even say constructive feedback. It always turns to insult and violence and aggression. We as the conservative movement have to do a better job of making sure that our voices are heard. Call out the individual. If you come to my podcast and you leave that kind of comment, as I said, it won't be allowed and you will be blocked and then you just will never be a part of it again. And that's probably okay with you, and it's okay with me, because we are going to just agree we disagree. And if the only way that that can happen is for me to block you in your comments, remove them, then so be it. Because I will not allow it to go any further. We have to do a better job as conservatives in getting our opinion out there, standing and supporting each other. When you see a comment and it's inappropriate, you need to make a comment. I'm not saying you be disgusting or aggressive. I'm just saying you call it out. That's inappropriate. That kind of thing. Because it hasn't happened, and that's why it's out of control. I'm not saying it's all the conservative movement's part. There's so much more involved. Money, power, greed. I mean, we can go on and on, right? This would be a never-ending podcast. I just want to make a message to all of my fellow conservatives. If you want the way of life that you grew up in, that I did, and you want that for our next generations, we have to work together. We have to get our message out, and we have to start calling out the other side in a direct, non-aggressive manner. We have to do that. We have to make an effort to do that. We have to demonstrate right from wrong, because there are people that are on the fence, that truly don't understand the conservative way of life. And we need to be explaining our conservative way of life. Less government interference, a balanced budget. Stay out of my life. You're not invited into my life. You don't get to know what my life is. My life is protected by my home and my personal space, and no one is invited into it unless I invite them into it. Balancing our budget, making sure that we are always safe and defended as a nation. All of those things. Making sure that our children have the same rights and same opportunities that we had when we were growing up. Putting people in jail that deserve to be in jail. People who cannot fit into a civilized society, well, there's no option for them but to remove them from that society. Law and order, we have to have it. And they're in charge. The disrespect for our law enforcement is disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. And our leaders, our conservative leaders, have to do a better job of holding the other side accountable for their actions, because they certainly hold our side accountable, and it's not a mutually equal effort, in my opinion. So our leaders have to do a better job. And we as a community, as a group, need to be putting out the differences between what we believe and what the socialist liberal party believes. Because let's be real, the Democratic Party now is a party of socialism. I've worked hard for what I have, and I'm not going to share it with anybody that I don't choose to share it with. And the government does not have a right to tell me that I have to do that. That's socialism and approaching communism. My country, Australia, is a socialized country. They have socialized medicine. There's a lot of things that go on in Australia that you would not understand and think that it was the way that it is, but it is. The Australian government actually called on Australians to turn on each other during COVID. Turn them in. Never in my wildest dreams would I have ever imagined that. A government asking the citizens to turn on each other and turn them in when they left their home. COVID showed a lot of things. Maybe COVID was the antithesis for this entire thing. I don't know. I'm not trained in all of that to know that. I just know we as a conservative movement have to be more proactive in getting across our message, our beliefs, and calling out the other side when the other side violates our rights to speech. Whatever it is, whether it's a person, a platform, social media, news, I don't care. Everybody has the right to speak their mind and believe what they want to believe. It's in the Constitution of the United States of America, and we as a conservative movement have to do a better job of enforcing that and calling others out who try to interfere with that. We cannot be complacent anymore. We cannot just continue to turn the other cheek. We have to be aggressively, non-violently getting our message across to those people to explain what the difference between a conservative way of life is and a socialistic way of life. Because let's face it, 60% of the American public is right here in the middle with me. Then we have the extreme left and we have the extreme right. And none of those entities are any good. They're just not. They're as bad as one another. It's 12 o'clock. So I hope this message inspires you to speak up, defend your conservative way of life, to get involved, to start posting what your conservative way of life is, what it means, and why it's important. Because there are so many people that are on the fence, and we have elections in November, and it is a crucial, crucial time. Look what's happening in New York. This is a prime example of why we can't go down that slippery slope of socialism, because you and I will lose what we have worked our entire lives for. And I'm not willing to accept that. I'm just not. I've worked too hard to provide for what I have and what my children have and what my parents have worked hard for and my siblings, to just allow it to be for naught because other people disagree. We have to get back to learning how to say, I disagree with you. I respect your opinion, but you must respect mine. And it has to be done in a civilized, non-aggressive, non-violent method, or else we won't have a country. We won't. And the generations behind us don't deserve that. They just don't. I hope this inspires you to get involved, to speak your mind, so we all can continue to live the lives that we work hard for. I don't think any of us really want to see it destroyed in our heart of hearts. And sometimes it just takes a concerted effort to get the message across. What is it to be a conservative in this country? What do we want? What aren't we not willing to accept? And it's going to take all of us in this effort to talk to those people who are undecided come November. Many blessings to you wherever you are on this Tuesday. Thank you for joining me at Konservatives Korner. Anybody is welcome, as I said, and I'd love your feedback. Let me know, how do you believe? Suggestions, please, because the more we share with each other, the better off we'll be. The more informed we'll be, and the better our movement will be. America is definitely worth the effort, because there is no other place on earth like it. There's just not. And she is worth the effort to save our futures for all of those that are behind us. They deserve to have their American dream just like you and I have had. Many blessings to you. Stay out of the heat. Stay hydrated. Always travel with water. Let your families know where you are, because you know what? We live in strange times. It's always better to be prepared than unprepared. God bless you, and God bless this amazing United States of America. We'll see you the next time at Konservatives Korner.